Well, good morning. It's about 6:40 on a Wednesday morning, and we're leaving for Boring, Oregon this morning. This is by far the longest trip that we've taken the Lightning Pro on. Um, some of you may or may not know that I raise guide dogs for the blind, and Morello, the puppy that I'm raising right now, uh, the two of us are taking two other dogs back to the Oregon campus of GDB, and that's about a 1,300-mile trip from where I am right now. I've routed myself along I-70 into Green River, Utah, and then up through Salt Lake, and then reconnect with the route that would ordinarily take if I were driving the ice truck along I-80 through Wyoming, link up with that. I was real hesitant about going through Wyoming for two reasons. One is, even on a nice day, that wind can be whipping, which means going west, it would be a headwind all the way across Wyoming, and the amount of chargers in Wyoming, while I would have the range on an ordinary day, Electrify America, in all of its bright wisdom, has decided that they would limit charging to 80%. And quite frankly, if I've got a headwind and I'm at 80%, I may not make it to the next charger, or I'll update the trip as I go along. I did buy a Tesla membership, and so going out 70 and then up through Utah and Idaho and into Oregon, the majority of my charge is going to come from Tesla. And I've done the comparison, and even non-member rates are generally much cheaper than the EA chargers. In fact, I couldn't find one that was more expensive than the non-member rate on the EA charger. So Tesla by far right now is the better bang for the buck. They do. I noticed yesterday that they do have Tesla app does now show you the member and the non-member rate if you pull up an individual charger. And the overnight charge, if I were traveling at night, would be very reasonable for a supercharger. Some were as low as 20 cents a kilowatt that I looked up. So that's nice. And then others have a flat rate of 33 cents, which is still much better than the member rate of the EA. But EA doesn't, well, this will probably come in a video later, but EA does its best to not tell you much. And the charger that I'm going to use in Green River, I had a nightmare last night that it was offline. And if that was the case, then I was going to be sunk because I wouldn't have enough charge to get from Grand Junction up past Green River. But I looked it up this morning, and only one of the four, fingers crossed, only one of the four chargers are down. So let's all keep our fingers crossed, and hopefully I won't be stuck in Green River, Utah. I stopped to charge here at Copper Mountain and at the Conoco, and I went through my normal routine that I've used before at Tesla, and had an error. And then I reinitiated the app and so forth, and realized that this Tesla charger has an adapter for my Ford. I did not know that those existed. Since I don't use Tesla very much, and I haven't kept up on all of the changes. But anyway, yeah, that worked like a breeze. I didn't need my I brought my A to Z adapter, and I brought my new Ford adapter, and I don't need those at this charging station. That was nice. Well, I'm here in Snowville, Utah, at the Pilot Flying J, and looks like it's working. So it's kind of expensive, I think 60 cents a kilowatt, but when you need to top off, that's what happens. Good morning from just southeast of La Grande, Oregon. I realized that I haven't really done any updates along the road, but we just passed a sign a mile or so ago that indicated we just crossed the 40th degree north longitude, which is kind of nice. I like signs like that. Thank you, Oregon. What that means is that we've gone about 5 degrees plus a few north of where I live. And the reason I know that is because I live about half a mile north of Baseline Road, which in Boulder is 40 degree north. So 45 minus 40, 5 degrees. There you go. We're on Highway 84 heading to Ontario, where I'll find a Tesla charger that I used the other day. And I'm using the Tesla chargers far more than the EA chargers. One, they're more reliable, and two, they're cheaper. Even subtracting out the difference, the $6 difference in membership fees per month, it doesn't take long to make up that difference. So, and more importantly, it doesn't take long to make up the monthly membership fee as well, in the difference of charging. Tesla typically is cheaper even as a non-member rate, but certainly as a member it's definitely cheaper, and many of the stations have a graduated fee structure. If you stop in at 2 o'clock in the morning, you're charged one fee, which is very reasonable. I think it's I've paid 22 or 23 cents, or could pay. I missed one by just a few minutes, or about 30 minutes, but well. Okay, another update here. We just crossed over 64 miles of road traveled and hit the 60% mark. So again, that suggests that I'm doing better than 2 miles per kilometer. And sure enough, I look at the range, and it's just flipped to 2.1. Also, when I started this morning, the temperature was at 46 degrees, and in the span of about 5 miles, it increased to 56, and now it's dropped a bit. But anyway, people, again, these are all things that are covered in the forum quite regularly, the Lightning Forum, and so I thought I would address these questions. So for those of you watching, this is my experiment. Now, one of the things that I've discovered about this part of the country, unlike in Colorado, the wind tends to be out of the west. I haven't had any headwinds coming eastbound. breeze is pretty standard, west to east. Now, good morning. This is a quick update from I-80 between Evanston and Rock Springs. Something that I've been playing with a lot of different things on this trip. Trying to draft off of the big trucks. I realized a few weeks ago on following in heavy traffic on I-70, I was actually able to increase my range by keeping up with traffic and doing 75 or 80. So I've done a few of those things on this trip as well, drafting off the big trucks like we used to do in the 70s with our gas engines. I did that a lot. Improved my gas mileage a lot out on trips. But anyway, this time I thought the hills in western Wyoming, they're undulating hills, long, shallow grades for the most part until you get to central Wyoming, and they become steeper and much more windy. But out here in the west on 80, they're longer grades. I'll show a dash. Maybe that will give you an idea. I don't know. I'll look at that in the editing room. But anyway, what I've done is pulled off my cruise control, and I've done this a lot, but I'm having more success with it on this trip in particular, is feathering the pedal in sport drive and making some electricity periodically. You'll see the green light, and once in a while, if this grade is steep enough, then I'll even you'll see the light on the right, the battery indicator actually right there, making storing some juice. So anyway, that's nice. And I'm doing 73 out here. It's a bit of a crosswind. I would say right now the crosswind is probably almost perpendicular from my left to right, probably in the neighborhood of 15 miles per hour, something like that, which in Wyoming, that would be a completely calm day, a 15-mile-an-hour wind. But anyway, I'm hovering between 2.1 and 2.2 miles per kilometer. I'll shine over there. Okay, come back. Also, what I'm doing is on the longer, much longer, steeper grades, I've turned off the sport mode, and I'm not losing any battery on the climb. So if I'm maintaining 2 miles per kilometer on that hill, I'm not losing I'm not going down to 1.8, 1.7, which I was early in the trip when I was further west, closer to Evanston. I was dropping, and that's normal. But it suddenly occurred to me that maybe there's a bit of sport mode effect on the vehicle in cruise control, so that I can gain some battery power on the descent, but I'm also losing more battery power on the climbs than I would if I was just in regular mode. So I've tried that, and again I went to feathering and turned off my cruise control, so I was more manually one pedal drive, and sure enough, I was I was maybe gaining going from 2.0 to 2.1 to 2.2 on the descents, but then on the climbs, I was maintaining the 2.0 mile per kilometer. Whereas when I was in cruise control, even when I was dropped down to 66 miles an hour, I was dropping from 2.0 to 1.8, even 1.7. So now what I've done through all of this manualizing the Ford and overriding the computer, so to speak, I've actually increased my range from 2.0 to 2.1. Right now I'm at 2.1, but I'm bouncing between 2.1 and 2.2. So okay, so here's a follow-up to the trip out to Boring, Oregon. We traveled 2,674 miles. I took 3 pups with me on the way out and 2 pups for most of the way back. And what that means is that I stopped to charge more often than I would have if I was just traveling by myself, or if we were not driving in a charging desert, like several places in parts of Utah and certainly in Wyoming. So I planned the trip going out. I knew where I was going to charge. And the problem that I ran into is that as soon as I crossed the Utah-Colorado border heading to Green River, I ran into about a 35 to 40 mile an hour headwind. And then as I turned north of Green River going into Salt Lake, I still had a headwind, but it dropped down to like 25 to 30 mile an hour headwind. So, optimally, where I had planned to charge, I was going to be charging from about a 40% rate or 50% rate up to 80 or 85, and get in and out at 25 to 30 minutes and be on our way. Give the dogs a little break and give myself a chance to stretch and so forth. Let the dogs do their business and so forth. But because of the headwinds that I ran into going out and the torrential downpour and 50 mile an hour headwinds that I had from Laramie to Cheyenne and then down home coming back, that really wrecked my range. And so I went from, say, a 25-minute charge schedule to a 35 to 40-minute charge schedule. And of course, that slows everything down. And when I tell you how many times I stopped for a charge in 2,600 miles, you may be shocked and say, oh, this guy, he doesn't take any risk at all. And you're right. I didn't take much risk. I don't drive till I'm in a 10 or 15% state of charge when I'm not driving by myself. So, and again, it depends on where I am. So anyway, I stopped at Tesla chargers 16 times, and I stopped at Electrify America chargers 11 times. So that, and then at one of the hotels that I stayed at in Eastern Oregon, there was a charge point charger next door. So I just let it charge up there. So I had 2 charges on charge point. And then when I got back to Laramie, which is a charging desert, everything is slow speed at anywhere between 6, 9, and 20 kilowatts per hour. That can take some time. So anyway, but like I say, a lot of it depends on where I am. If I'm in Eastern Oregon, which is Oregon itself is pretty charge friendly, almost like Colorado, and parts of Idaho are charge friendly. there is that occasional place where, I can only do at most probably 180, 185 miles on my standard range battery before panic starts to set in. So I think the most I traveled, looking at my notes, I did a 145 or 150 mile between stops a couple of times, but most of them were right around 100, a few miles less, a few miles more, because the distance between point A and point B was 100 miles, and from point B to point C was also 100 miles. But I can't not stop at point B because I can't make that 200-mile range between points A and C. So anyway,